And enjoy lunch. Yes, great. Yeah, I after last year's conference here, I said we were going to name this year's conference not your conference chicken because it's definitely different. So we definitely enjoyed it. Um, so we are glad to have Coach Colleen here with us today. She's talking to us for the next hour and a half about how to manage stress, how to celebrate success, and create energy. And I think it's all important due to the past 2.5 years of us, working from home. We're on our Zoom calls. What are we doing to get outside of the house? So we're excited to have Coach Colleen here to speak with us today. Um, her experience in with her experience and skills in HR, Colleen became known as the fixer. She's called to help organizations and leaders create a better workplace, create productive teams, and align results. Her career in government has focused on affirmative action, EEO, and diversity. She was a successful investigator of harassment and discrimination complaints and implemented strategies that resulted in more diverse and inclusive workplaces. She is the CEO of Be More Consulting, a boutique agency designed to support organizations in creating cultures of inclusion and developing women leaders. So welcome, Colleen.
Hello. How are we? Y'all just had Malone steak. And I said, how are y'all? And y'all were like, good. We are not taking a nap this afternoon. I promise you that. I'm super excited. I got to find, here we go. They said stay between here and here. And I'm like a rule follower. Yes. I'm really excited to be here with you all. I'm going to be fully transparent. I've been in New York all week. I got back at 11:30 last night. I was supposed to get back at 5:30. Here we are. My roommate from college is turning 40 on Saturday. And so we went to New York for a girls trip and we saw shows and we ate way too much food and saw the Rockettes. And I learned something very important about myself. And that is your girl could never be a Rockette. Like in theory, I watch it and I'm like, that's amazing. Like the thought of kicking my leg that high, not gonna happen. But I'm excited to be here with you all. This is one of the things that has been on my calendar for a very long time now. And I can't believe that it's finally here because it felt so far away. And now here we are in December. So I want to start with one of my favorite quotes, and that is this: you are responsible for the energy that you bring into a room. You are responsible for the energy that you bring into a room. Now, I love this quote because every single day I remind myself of this. I remind myself before I walked in here, hey, what energy do I want to bring to our time together today? Before I walk in to see my husband, what energy do I want to bring to that? Because let's be honest, sometimes that interaction is maybe not what I wanted it to be. So I want us to be intentional about our time together today. So what I'd love for you to do is I'd love for you to find a partner, and I want you to just share with your partner, what energy do you want to bring to our time together today? What energy do you want to bring to our time together today? Okay, go. All right. What energy are we committed to bringing today? Who wants to share? What are some of the things that you all said? What was that? Positive. What was that in the back? Fun. That's one of my core values. So we're going to have fun today. I promise you that. What else? To be present. Great. One of the things that I usually ask is for you to be all in for our time together. What do you think I mean when I ask you to be all in? To not, yeah, not be on your phone, right? I always want to start with, if you want to grab your phone right now, and go on and grab your phone. Grab your phone right now. Pull it up. I'm serious. Grab your phone. Open up your camera. Take a picture of me. Here's why, because sometimes people like to, in the middle of my talk, take pictures and post them on the internet, and I look like this. That's not cute, y'all. So post that picture, the post picture, it looks good. So be all in, like don't be on your phones, don't check your emails, be engaged, answer questions. But somehow, of course, see, that's what happens. That's what happens. And I promise you will have a good time. So hi, welcome. This is a really great picture of me. So I include it in my every single presentation that I do. Hi, Colleen. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. My mission is how can I help people create better work experiences and better life experiences for themselves? I think it's really easy, especially in a work environment, to think what happens at work stays at work and what happens at home stays at home. But is that true? No, right? What happens sometimes? They get all meshed up. What happens at work boils over at home. What happens at home boils over at work. And oftentimes we take it out on the people that we love most, right? And so I really ask myself, how can I make workplaces better? Right? You heard in my bio, I was an investigator of harassment and discrimination complaints. I saw the worst of human behavior. And sometimes the result was people suck, right? And sometimes the result was people are great because they stood up for this other person. So for me, it was like, how can we make workplaces better? And then how can we make individuals better by just showing up, right? Now, who I am personally is this. That is Justin Timberlake. I love him that much that he makes my About Me page. I don't know him personally, unfortunately, but we've been kicking it since I was like 14. So he makes my About Me page, and it makes me so happy every single time I look at him. Makes me happy. We were in Montana this summer, and Justin Timberlake has a house in Montana. Did I make my husband drive me around just in case? Yes, I did. I did not run into him though, but hi, Justin. In the middle there is my actual husband, Robert. We have been married, it'll be 5 years in March. We still really like each other, which I think is a positive. Even during COVID, when he was in my space all the time, we still really like each other. Robert and I are very different people. He is retired military. He is a full-time JROTC instructor. He is a part-time law enforcement officer. I walk in and I'm like, I'm having some feelings. Can we talk about them? And he's like, do we have to? So we've learned a lot about each other, but I do need to tell y'all because I feel like sometimes I don't share all of the good stuff about him. I told you I was gone. I got home last night. There was a card and a cake. A cake. Was like, who is this person? Thank you so much. I want to just point out one thing in that picture of the two of us together. That was the day we got married. Those earrings are hoop earrings that he got me for Christmas the year before, and they have machine guns in them. Do I look like a machine gun earring girl? No, no. We give each other one gift on Christmas Eve that we're most excited. That was the gift that he picked to give to me on Christmas Eve. So I opened it and I was like, oh. And I wore them for our first look because I knew that they would make him laugh, and they did. So that's him in a nutshell. Oprah's my homegirl. She inspires a lot of what I do. My mom and my brother down in the corner are the two other most important people in my life. I was raised by a single mom. My father passed away when I was young. My family unit were very, very close, so they're very important to me. I do yoga, specifically hot yoga, 105 degrees, 40% humidity. It is hell on earth, but it feels good afterwards. And I love tea. Also, right there, you'll see my bonus son, Bo. Bo is turning 10 the end of the month. He is like the greatest little sunshine in my life. He's had the best year ever because he went to space camp this summer. So he's living his best life. So that's me in a nutshell. Professionally, you all kind of heard a little bit about me. I worked in HR. I love to just help people figure things out. I'm a problem solver by heart. I love to teach workshops and do consulting. I wrote a book a few years ago called Monday Morning Pep Talks that Success Magazine listed as one of the top books for professional women. But I need you to know that I'm also a real person too. So I know what it's like to be the person that gets in your own way sometimes. Raise your hands if sometimes you are the person that gets in your own way. Anyone? Yes, thank you for not making me feel alone with that. I need you all to know that because I know sometimes when I'm watching people speak, it's easy for me to look at them and think they've got it all figured out. I am a high functioning hot mess 90% of the time. I have some things figured out, and some of that is what I want to share with you all today. So I told you I wanted you all to be all in. Can we be all in? Yes. Can we be all in? One more time. Can we be all in? Awesome. Let's do this. So there are 4 things that I need you to remember today, and they come with a hand motion and a sound. So you're going to look silly, but I'm going to need you to do it with me. Okay. The first one looks like this. Ah, 1, 2, 3. Ah. I can already tell we're going to have fun today. Y'all are in it. I'm good. Okay. Second one looks like this. Yes. 1, 2, 3. Yes. Awesome. The third one looks like this. Look out. 1, 2, 3. Look out. And the last one looks like this. Raise the roof. Some of y'all are like, girl, I've been doing this for a long time, right? All of this will make sense by the end, but that's what we're going to talk about today. My main objectives for our time together today, we're going to reflect on the past 2+ years. We're going to celebrate some of the accomplishments that you all have had. We're going to talk about stress. Raise your hand if you know a few things about stress. Yeah, we're going to talk about stress today. We're going to talk about creating energy. I want you to be excited for the future by the time that we're done today, and we're going to have fun. So that's what we're going to do. So I really wanted to talk about the last like 2.5 years. And the reason that I wanted to talk about it is because I feel like there's so much emphasis on what's next, right? It's like, oh, that's done. Let's just be done with that. Let's not talk about it anymore. What's next? And I think that that's an important piece, but I also think it's important for us to pause for a moment and reflect on the past like 2.5 years, because this is what it felt like for me. Okay. She's okay. Some of y'all are so sensitive, and I appreciate that. She's okay. It gets funnier like the third time you see it, right? A lot of us were just riding our little bikes, minding our own business, doing our work, showing up, having our families. And then March 2020 hit, and all of a sudden, all of us flew off our bicycles, right? We hit that curb, we flew off. We had to figure out what's next. What am I going to do? How am I going to get back up after falling off of the bicycle? Anyone relate to this? And it was abrupt too, right? It wasn't just like do, and you tip over. It was the curb, hit, fly off, right? So I want us to really check in with each other with how we're doing. Because I think for a lot of us, when people ask, how are you doing? We're like, oh, I'm good. I'm great. Life is good. And deep down inside, maybe we're not doing that well. Because when we think about it, life changed for all of us. Our work changed, our travel changed, right? Our relationships changed. Did anyone end up spending more time with loved ones than what they ever had in their entire lives? Yes. I don't know about you all, but I was working from home before COVID, and then my husband, who teaches, started working from home. And all of a sudden, he's like, 2 o'clock, what are you doing? You want to hang out? I'm like, I'm working. What are you doing? Right. And it was just a lot. He was in my space a lot, right? We had to figure out how to manage space a little bit differently. Our grocery stores changed. Did anyone get like anxiety sweats before you went into the grocery store? Kind of height of COVID, I would be a sweaty mess before I even walked into the store. And by the time I left, I'd be like, I've got to go home and take a shower. I feel like I have run a marathon, right? So our grocery stores changed, our home life changed, our schedules changed, and it's a lot. It's a whole lot. And it's okay if you have a lot of different emotions about that. What I want you to do right now, though, is I want us to pause for a second and I want you to just check in with yourself and answer what's working right now, what's not working right now, and what, if anything, can you do to change it? So find your partner again and share with them what's working right now, what's not working right now, what, if anything, can you do to change it? All right, clap once if you can hear me. 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 That's how I'll get your attention. But y'all aren't talking that loud, but that's how I'll get your attention when we need to come back. What's not working right now? What are some of the things that are not working for you right now? Okay, staffing. Okay, so illness is. Okay, staffing. Anyone else relate to that? Staffing? Yeah. Yeah, that's, I think, across every industry right now too. Yes. What else is not working? Personal self-care. Anyone else relate to that? Personal self-care is not working? Raise your hand. Yeah. Good. What else is not working? So, okay, so setting boundaries, not working when you're at home, keeping those boundaries kind of in line. Anyone else relate to boundaries not working right now? Yeah. So the reason that I love to ask that is because how many times have you woken up on December 31st or January 1st and you're like, well, shit, what happened? Right? And we don't check in with ourselves enough to say what's not working. And so every week we do the same things that aren't working over and over and over again without that pause to say, you know what, maybe this isn't working. So what else can I do instead? Right? So the most important question for me of these three is what, if anything, can I do to change it? Because oftentimes we don't give ourselves enough credit for the things that we can change, right? What are some of the things that I can change? Well, I can change my boundaries. I can work on my boundaries. I can work on my self-care. The other thing that I don't think we think about enough is how much time and energy we spend thinking about things that we have absolutely no control over. And what happens when we spend that much time and energy thinking about things that we have absolutely no control over? You will exhaust yourself, right? And not only that, you take away the energy that you do have for the things that you actually can do something about. And so, what I want us to think about is okay, well, what's not working? But what, if anything, can I do to change it? Because if not, I need to let it go. And if I can do something to change it, I need to do something about it. Because one of my beliefs is this: once you become aware, you become responsible. And the reason that I tell people that is because I think what we avoid most often is the responsibility of having to do something that we know that we can do. So many times people come to me and I'll say, what is it that you want? And they'll say, I don't know. And I'm like, you don't know? I don't know. I guess I just want to be happy. Great. What is it that will make you happy? What do you think 80% of people tell me? I have no idea. I have no idea what's going to make me happy. And I'm like, okay, if you have no idea what's going to make you happy, how do you know that you're not already happy? If you have no idea what's going to make you happy, how will you know if you've achieved happiness, right? And so sometimes people would love to stay in that ignorant bliss of just, I don't know, versus becoming aware, because then they have to do something about it, right? I often say for myself, I know what I need to do to lose 20 pounds. I know exactly what I would need to do. I also know that I love gummy bears. So it's not going to happen. I also know I hate running. So it's not going to happen unless there's a bear. And even then, I'm going to be like, I guess it's my time to go. And so knowing what to do and actually doing it are two totally different things, right? And so with this, what's not working and what, if anything, can you do to change it? That's such an important question to ask yourself. We can't always change our circumstances, but we can change how we respond to them. And how do you think a lot of us tend to respond to circumstances that aren't going our way? Anger, that's definitely one way. How else? Ignore it. Anyone try to ignore the things that just aren't? How's that work out for you? It's like, yeah, I'll ignore it and I'll ignore it. And then it bubbles over into everything else. And all of a sudden I can't ignore it. Oftentimes, how we usually respond is stress, right? So remember I said, that's what this is, because that's how it feels sometimes with us when we're stressed, right? So I want you to think of something that is causing you the most stress right now in your life. Now, my disclaimer is this: if it is someone who is either also sitting at your table or sitting in this room, please don't be like, Sally is the one that's causing my stress right now. It's very awkward and uncomfortable for all of us. So think about the one thing that's causing you stress right now. And if you need some help, here's a list of things that are causing me stress right now. Just a few things. So if you need help thinking of something, pick something. Everyone have their one thing causing them stress right now? Okay. Yeah, grocery shopping, yes. Everyone got their one thing? All right. So I saw this on Instagram and it cracked me up because I feel like this is me this time of year. Have yourself a merry little Chris. Is your turn signal broken? Or are you just being an awful human being? Let your heart be bright. That's literally me in the car this month, right? Okay. So I want us to stand up if you're able. And we're just going to like get it off of our chest, the one thing that's causing you stress right now. Okay. So stand up. Now, I need you to know that this only works if we all do it, because it is very awkward. What's your name? Alicia. It's very awkward if Alicia is the only one that yells and everyone else is like people that don't use turn signals. It's very awkward. So we have to make a commitment to yell it. Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to say. Mine is people that don't use turn signals. Is that what yours is? That too. Yes. I mean, I have a whole host of driving discrepancies that I could like talk about. But so that's what mine is going to be. We're all going to yell it out on the count of 3 because sometimes we just need to get it off of our chest. Okay. So I want you to just take a deep breath. And on the count of 3, we're going to yell it out. 1, 2, 3. People. Okay, y'all aren't yelling though. Like some of y'all are like, is everyone else going to do it? Everyone else is going to do it. Okay, it's very awkward when only a couple of y'all do it. So we're going to try it again. 1, 2, 3. People. Okay. Ooh, okay. Did you say people that don't put their baskets back? What did you say? Going slow in the. I thought you changed your mind. Okay, have a seat. Because also people that don't put their carts back at the grocery store stresses me out too. Now, here's the thing. Here's why I do that. Because it's silly to yell out the things that's stressing you out, because does it actually change it? No. But oftentimes we let it just fester in our bodies, right? We don't do anything about it. We don't say anything about it, and it just festers inside of us. So sometimes you literally just need to get it off your chest, right? And once you get it off your chest, then you feel a little bit better. Have you ever just vented to a friend and you just all the time? She's like, girl, all the time. How much time you got? And once you get it off your chest, you're so much better. Sometimes you have to just get the thing off your chest. That's the right? When we think about stress. So I want to share with you all a few of the ways that I know how to manage stress a little bit better. The first one is to become aware. What are the things that are stressing you out, right? Again, once you become aware, you become responsible. The second thing is to recognize the symptoms. I like to think of stress on a scale of 1 to 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being low stress, 10 being high stress. In my body, what does a level 2 look like? So if you're at level 2 stress, what happens in your body at level 2? Some of y'all are like, girl, I have not seen level 2 in years, right? It might just be like your everyday functioning is level 2. What do you think level 5 stress looks like in your body? What starts to happen for you? Okay, your neck gets red, okay, heart rate goes up. You might start crying. You get a headache, yeah. Hair falls out at level 5. It could, yeah. You start to shut down. You get quiet. Yeah, I get like that. My shoulders and my neck is where I start to feel it, level 5. What about level 7? What happens for you at level 7? Shut down. Someone say stomach issues. Yeah, stomach issues. No sleep. No coping. Yeah. Like at level 7, the coping mechanisms start to go out the door, right? It's like we forget all the things we know we should do at like level 7, 8, right? I will tell you at level 8, one of the things that I can tell for me is I get that daggone eye twitch. Anyone get an eye twitch? And what happens when you get the eye twitch? Do you get worried about the eye twitch? And then it causes you more stress because you have the eye twitch. And so now all of a sudden I'm stressed because I have an eye twitch. Yeah, it's like a bad cycle, right? Now, what happens at level 10? You might have to yeah, you might actually have like heart issues. You might shut down. For me, level 10 is when my body is just like, that's enough. And I can't get out of bed, right? Like something physically will happen to me and I can't get out of bed. And so it's always like, hey, you don't want to deal with this? Cool, we'll make you have to deal with it. What I want us to do is to recognize those symptoms at level 5, 7, 8. That way we don't get to level 10. But what do you think happens when I get an eye twitch? Do you think I'm like, oh, look, I got that eye twitch. I should probably do some more yoga. No, I'm like, I got to keep going. I got to keep going. And then all of a sudden I'm stuck in bed for 3 days because I can't get out. Right. And so recognize those symptoms at a lower level. That way you can do something about it then instead of waiting for it to get to level 10. What was that? Sorry. So level 10's a real good time for you, right? Yeah, yes. All right, then you can get it off your chest. You can yell it, you can talk to a friend, you can just get it off your chest. The other thing that you can do is decide what you want to do with it. I like to play this game called What, So What, Now What? What is identify what is the thing that's stressing me out? Because oftentimes the thing that we think is stressing us out is not the thing that's actually stressing us out, right? So what is the thing that's actually stressing me out? So what? Why is it stressing me out? Why is this important to me? Why am I giving it the energy to stress me out? And now what? What am I going to do with it? What am I going to do with it now? Am I going to let it go? Am I going to try to figure it out? Am I going to talk to a friend about it? What am I going to do with it now? Right? So what, now what? And the last thing is to have a game plan. And we're going to make a little game plan for you here in just a second. I want to talk about these 4 things that I also think are helpful when it comes to stress. Number 1 being meditation. Raise your hand if you meditate. Anyone meditate? Okay. So I started meditating about 5 years ago. And the first time that I tried to meditate, I remember having this thought, I'm not good at this. Now, I had to remind myself that they do not give medals for meditation. There is no gold medal for being the best meditator in the world. And it's okay if you're not good at it. But I'm an overachiever. So I was like, I'm not good at this. I don't want to do it if I'm not good at it. And so I found this 21-day meditation challenge with Oprah and Deepak Chopra. And it was like 10 minutes a day of meditation. And I was like, I think I could do 10 minutes for 21 days. And it is the thing that has probably changed my life the most, right? Now, I'm still not good at it. and I still fall asleep sometimes when I do it. And I still think about my grocery list sometimes in the middle of a meditation. But just giving yourself 5 to 10 minutes to not think about anything but your breath really does teach you how to get more in touch with your body. Harvard did a study and they looked at people who had never meditated and they had them commit to 10 weeks of daily short meditations. And they did a brain scan on them before the challenge, and then they re-scanned the same individuals the challenge. And what they found on the brain scans was after 10 weeks of meditation, the parts of your brain that are in charge of how you experience joy, how you experience love, how you experience focus grew. They could see a measurable difference on the brain by literally just 10 minutes of meditation a day. And the parts of your brain that control things like anger and sadness and fear shrunk. They literally could see the difference after 10 weeks of brain scans. So meditation isn't just to like, we should all love each other and hug and feel good. It's not that. It really does change your brain, right? So think about, where can you find 5 minutes to start? I use an app called Headspace to meditate. You can find free ones on YouTube. Where can you just find 5 minutes to start, or 5 minutes to breathe, or 5 minutes of silence, right? Whatever that looks like for you, where can you just start? The second one is affirmations. Raise your hand if you know what an affirmation is. What's an affirmation? Someone tell me. Bless you. Positive sentence, right, about yourself. I say they are I am sentences, right? And it is how you see yourself or how you want to see yourself. Oftentimes, I think of affirmations as a love letter to myself. What do I most need to hear right now? And I first started using affirmations several years ago after a very awful breakup. Now, some of us understand what I'm about to say. When you have a hard breakup, women, what do? We cut our hair, or we start a new exercise program, or we like maybe want to, I don't know, destroy property or something. I started going to yoga, and I was like 50 pounds heavier than what I am now. And I remember being in this yoga studio looking at myself, and I could hear the words that I was saying about myself. And they were not good. They were not good at all. And all of a sudden, I heard this voice that just said this: you are worthy of good things. You are beautiful inside and out. You are capable of achieving greatness. And I have no idea where that came from. I call that my divine download, because it just literally came to me. And all of a sudden I was like, I am worthy of good things. I am beautiful inside and out. I am capable of achieving greatness. What does that even mean? And I just started saying it over and over and over again to myself. And I did 200 yoga classes that first year saying, I am worthy of good things. I am beautiful inside and out. I am capable of achieving greatness. Do you know what happens when you say something like that to yourself over and over and over again? You start to believe that it might actually be true. And then do you know what happens when you believe the things that you're saying about yourself? You show up differently. I started to show up as a person who believed that she was worthy of good things. I started to show up as a person who believed that she was beautiful inside and out and was capable of achieving greatness. And all of a sudden, these things in my life started changing, all because of how I was talking to myself. So I want you to think right now, what is the one thing that you most need to hear about yourself right now? And on your handout, there's a part that says affirmation. I want you to write, I am blank, whatever it is for yourself. What is the one thing that you need to hear right now for yourself? Does anyone need a handout? Does everyone have one? Okay. You need a pen. Is that what you're, okay. Now, those of you all that are my overthinkers in the audience, don't overthink this. What's the first thing that comes to mind? You know what? You can change your mind later. It's okay. Just write something down. Anyone want to share one of theirs that came up for them? Strong. Great. I am strong. Anyone else? Social. Great. Is that something that you are, something that you want to be? I can tell. I was going to say, I can tell you're a social person. Good. Anyone else? Yeah. I'm in control about my thoughts, about myself. That's so great. Gosh, that's a good one. I'm gonna borrow that one. That's a good one. Good. Anyone else? I'm capable. Wonderful. I just think that these are so important, right? How do we talk about ourselves? And oftentimes, the way that we talk about ourselves, we don't even recognize it. So, what happens if we start to more intentionally talk about ourselves? We more intentionally talk about who we want to be and how I want to show up. It changes things, right? Oftentimes, the very first assignment that I give coaching clients is this: I want you to write 25 I am statements about yourself. I want you to record yourself saying them on the voice memo on your phone, and I want you to listen to it 3 times a day. How hard do you think that is? It's so hard. One, everyone hates the sound of their own voice, right? Two, 25 statements, positive statements about myself. Oftentimes people are like, I can come up with 10, but I can't think of anything more, right? And then to listen to it 3 times a day in your own voice, you really do, it like makes you cringe at first. And then the more you listen to it, the more you start to believe it. So affirmations, I think, are very powerful, and they're one of the ways that I think is helpful with stress. All right, the third thing is gratitude. Gratitude is one of my favorite things to talk about because when I was 15, I watched an episode of Oprah, and Oprah said, Colene, you should start a gratitude journal. And I was like, really, Oprah? Me? I should start a gratitude journal? And she was like, yes, it has changed my life. And so Oprah said she wrote down 3 things that she was grateful for and 3 reasons why every day. So at 15, I went out and bought a journal and I started a gratitude journal. Now, what's funny to me is more days than not, since I was 15, I have written in a gratitude journal. When I go back and look at 15, sweet little 15-year-old Colleen, and what she was thankful for in that gratitude journal, it makes me laugh because some things never change, because Colleen was still thankful for gummy bears at 15 and boys that talked to her in the hallway and getting a good grade on something. But it's interesting to see that growth. And I think people hear that and they think, oh, it's got to be something really deep. I'm like, no, y'all, literally to this day, I still write, I'm thankful for gummy bears some days, because some days they hit the spot, right? I do this right before I go to bed. What do you think happens when I end my day with gratitude? Okay, I start my next day with it, but what else do you think might happen? I sleep so much better, because how do a lot of us end our day? Thinking about the shit show that day was, right? I didn't do this. I didn't do that. I didn't get this done. I messed this up. And we don't pause to think about what went right that day. in spite of all of the things that didn't go well, what are the things that I have to be thankful for? One time I had a car and I loved this car. It was like the first car I bought myself, but the air conditioning went out in like June here in Kentucky. And I had developed this window system that like air flowed in through one and I had a system, y'all. And I got a new car. And I was like, I'm so thankful for air conditioning in my car. It was one of those things that to everyone else might maybe felt silly, but it doesn't matter. It's what are you thankful for today? And so, what is one thing that you are thankful for today? Write it down on your handout. One thing that you're thankful for today. On the way here, I was thinking about how excited I was to be next to OBC because they have that delicious candied bacon. Have y'all had that? It's got like a peanut butter dip with it. And I was like, oh, I'm so excited. I'm so thankful I'm going to get to go order that and take it home. Like little things add up to make a big difference, right? What are some of the things you're thankful for today? God, good. What else? Prayer, good. Good. What else? Love. Frank Sinatra. I bet that's an experience. I'm not mad about it. Yeah. What else? Awesome lunch. Yeah. Your son. The cheerleaders in your life. Good. I just want, even if you don't keep a journal, I want you to think at the end of the day, what are 3 things that I can be thankful for today? And in your day with gratitude, because it really does change things. The last piece is social support. Who are the people in your life that support you, that show up for you, that help you be the person that you want to be? I think it's important to, one, thank those people because they have to put up with you. And sometimes I know, even for myself, that's a task, right? Putting up with me is not always easy. And so I want you to list, like, who is the one person in your life right now that you would just want to reach out to and say, thank you for the support that you've given me. So many of us are lonely and searching for connection because we don't take the time to just pause and reach out to people that we know we already have connection with. And so one of my big goals for next year, I'm developing this workshop right now called How to Make and Keep Friends as an Adult, because I hear from so many people that like, I want friends, but I don't know how to make friends. And I'm like, great, well, let's talk about it together. Let's make friends, right? Because we need that connection. We are built for connection. So who in your life is your social support? Write that down and make a commitment to reach out to them and thank them. All right, the last piece with the stress is what I call our quick self-care plan. And I developed this because I think when people hear self-care, they think that they need to schedule 2 hours to like sit in a bathtub. Now, I need you all to know my feelings about baths. And that is, I don't understand just like sitting in your own juices. And so it's not for me. Now, listen, if that is what brings you joy in life, please continue to sit in your own juices. It's not for me, right? And so I think people think that self-care has to be something much bigger than what it is. I want us to think about what are some of the little things that we can do throughout the day to take care of ourselves. So, why are you worth taking care of? There's only one of you. Great. Why else are you worth taking care of? You take care of others, right? You can't take care of others if you're not taking care of yourself. Why else? Everybody matters. Great. Not just the people that you take care of. What else? I have big dreams. I have big goals that I want to do. I can't do any of that if I'm not taking care of myself, right? So I think, what are the things that we can do in short periods of time? Now, let's say that you have 2 minutes in between a phone call. Most of us would spend that 2 minutes thinking about what could I do with this 2 minutes and then end up doing nothing. What I want us to do is to have a list that we can go to and just say, this is what I have 2 minutes, this is what I'm going to do. So here are some suggestions of things that you could do in 2 minutes. What works for you? On your handout, I want you to just put one thing that you would do with 2 minutes that would take care of yourself. Now, these are just suggestions. There might just be things that you would prefer to do that are not on this list. But if you had 2 minutes, what would you do? You could laugh, doodle, compliment yourself, daydream, breathe. What would you do with your 2 minutes? Close your eyes. Sometimes that works. What else would you do? Yeah. What else? Play with your dog. Great. So that's 2 minutes. Let's say you have 5 minutes, 5 whole minutes that you could do something in between things. What would you do? You could evaluate your day. You could call a friend. You could draw a picture. You could dance. You could look for something online, read a magazine. What would you do with 5 minutes? What is the one thing that you would do with 5 minutes? Now, let's say that it's a really good day and you have 30 minutes. Well, sorry, 10 minutes. What would you do with 10 minutes of time? I'm going to tell y'all what I do with my 10 minutes. There's a video on YouTube of people falling on snow and ice. It's my favorite video on the internet. It's 7 minutes long. I watch it. It makes me laugh. All of a sudden, I've got energy, right? Again, these are things that don't have to make sense to anyone but you. What would you do with your 10 minutes? And lastly, 30 minutes. You had 30 minutes. What would you do with your 30 minutes? You could exercise. You could spend time in nature. You could do yoga. You could shop. You could watch an episode of your favorite show. What would you do with your 30 minutes? What I hope that you do with this is you keep it in your office. And if you have 2 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you look at that and you just take action instead of sitting there thinking, what can I do with this 10 minutes? Do it instead, right? So that's your quick self-care action plan. I also wanted to just share, because I think it's interesting, some of the research on the senses of things that help with stress. So things like with taste, things like gum or chocolate or bananas or eggs. I didn't do this research. Other people did, but here's some of the things that they say help lower stress. Smells such as lavender, eucalyptus, peppermint, green apple, coconut. Sounds such as rain or a coffee shop or a fan or lots of water things or fireplace. Touch like Play-Doh, rubber bands, stress balls, kneading erasers, bean bags. Sights, your favorite color, picture of someone you love, funny pictures, blowing bubbles, right? All of these things help us lower our stress. So as we emerge on the other side, it's important to acknowledge how hard it has been. Now, let's move on to the second thing. Remember the second thing I said, yes, 1, 2, 3. Yes, we're going to celebrate. What have you done in the last 2 years that you want to celebrate? So where have you been innovative? Where have you kept going? Where have you created something new? Where have you grown? How have you been the trusted advisor and strategic partner to healthcare providers? What is something that you want to celebrate, either personally or professionally? What's one thing that you want to celebrate for yourself? Okay. Okay, implemented 2 EMRs. I don't know what that is, but it sounds like a really big deal. So I'm excited for you. Okay, good. I'm super excited for you though, because 2 of them. 2, I know. She said 2. I was like, that's a big deal. Yes. Great. What else are we celebrating today? Over 2 years. What else do you want to celebrate today? Okay. Developed a resource app. That also sounds like a big deal too. Again, I'm like, that's great. I don't know what it is, but that's great. What else? Yeah. That is a big deal. That is a very big deal. Her husband quit his job and started his own business, and they're still married. That's a really big deal. What else? Yes, she learned how to walk. Again, that's amazing. Cancer free. That is also incredible. Also incredible. Here's the thing. I think it's important for us to celebrate because I think we forget. We just keep going, right? And when we celebrate, it reminds us, one, what you're capable of, and it tricks your brain into more momentum, right? It's almost like, oh man, we celebrated this, therefore we can do something else. We can do something more. And it's fun to celebrate, right? So oftentimes what I find happens is something happens in our lives and it needs to be celebrated. And on a scale of 1 to 10, we celebrate at either a level 0 or a level 1. So I want us to imagine someone telling us that they developed 2, what is the word? 2 EMRs, 2 EMRs, right? She's so excited about it. She comes up to me and my response is this. Yay. How does that feel? No, I don't, but yeah. But the fact that it was 2, right. And oftentimes we celebrate at a level 1. So I want us all to think of the one thing that we want to celebrate today. And we're celebrating each other. We're celebrating the fact that we're here, right? Because imagine 2 years ago what this felt like. The thought of even being in the room together felt like a long shot again. And now here we are. So I want us to imagine that we're celebrating each other and we're all going to celebrate right now at a level 1. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Yay. Now, we have friends that are cancer free. We have friends that have learned how to walk again. We have friends that have maintained their relationships and whatever else you're individually celebrating. Don't you think we deserve more than level 1 celebration for that? Right? So let's bump it up. Let's say like level 5. What do you think level 5 celebration might look like? Okay, that's level five's good, right? I think we should all do level five on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Yay! Awesome. That's great. Now, what I really want us to do is celebrate life. Celebrate the fact that we get to be here. Celebrate the journey that we all have been on for the past 2.5 years at a level 10. Now, what do you think happens at a level 10? Because level 10 for me is like Oprah just gave me a car. That's level 10 for me. What do you think we celebrate? What does that look like for us to celebrate at a level 10? This is really like level 10, right? So I think we all need to celebrate at a level 10 right now. Now, even if you're not doing it for yourself, I want us to think about the other people in this room that also deserve to be celebrated. Because maybe you don't feel good about celebrating yourself at a level 10, but I feel really good about celebrating every single one of you all in this room at a level 10 today. So on the count of three, I got to get my camera ready though, because I always miss this. Hold on. On the count of three, we're going to celebrate at a level 10. Is everyone ready? All right. 1, 2, 3. Level 10 celebration. Go. Go. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Now, some of y'all don't understand level 10 celebration. You turn around, you were like, woo, that's level 10. We're going to try that one more time. Level 10 celebration. 1. I love, she said, let me push my chair out. I got to get, girlfriend is over here stretching it out. She's got to get ready. All right. Yes. All right. 1, 2, 3. Level 10. Go. Oh, dang it. Okay. High five. High five. High five. High five. High five. Awesome. Here's why, you all, because I think it's so important for us to celebrate the things that we have done. Because if we don't celebrate it, it tells us it wasn't worth doing. Over and over again, we tell ourselves that was really hard. There was no reward in the end. It's not worth doing. I wrote a whole book and was like, is this it? Because I didn't take the time to pause and celebrate. Also, I should not run during that because now I gotta catch my breath. Okay. It tells your brain that it wasn't worth it. So the more that you celebrate success, the more success you have to celebrate. All right, number 4, we said was look out, right? So let's do it. 1, 2, 3, look out. This means sometimes the current day is not your best day. Has anyone ever had just not a good day? Yeah. And what happens when you have a not good day? How do you view the rest of your days of the week? You just want the whole week to be over, right? And so sometimes when you're having a not good day, it's really easy to feel like you're having a not good life. Has anyone ever had like a bad 5 minutes and you've made it a bad day? And a bad day and you've made it a bad week, and a bad week and you've made it a bad month, when really it's just like a couple of things, right? So I think it's important for us to always have something to look forward to. Now, again, this isn't me saying this. This is data that says this. And in 2015, they did a study and they found that having something positive to look forward to reduces stress and boosts your mood. Something as simple as just having something to look forward to. Sometimes just planning something to look forward to can boost your dopamine hits, right? So think about positive anticipation as the motivator that it is for you, and to be purposeful about your happiness. So on your handout, I want you to identify 2 things that you're looking forward to right now. What are 2 things that you're looking forward to right now? Is it time with your family? Is it time not with your family? All right, what are you looking forward to? Santa? Awesome. My mom tried to not give my brother and I presents from Santa a couple years ago, and we both were like, where's my present from Santa? So she now still has to give us presents from Santa. Yeah, I'm that person. Yes, I'm looking forward to Santa too. What else? Vacation, beach. What else? Wonderful. So time with your mom once she's fully healed from her surgery. Wonderful. What else? How did it feel just thinking about what you're looking forward to? Yeah, it's that simple, you all. It's that simple. You don't have to overcomplicate things. And again, just because it feels good to you doesn't mean that it has to make sense to anyone else. So that was the lookout piece. Now, the last thing that we're going to talk about was number 4, and that was raise the roof. 1, 2, 3, raise the roof. All right. So the raise the roof is really about stress and how do we create energy for ourselves. So raise your hand if sometimes you just don't feel like it at all, whatever it is. Yeah. Raise your hand if sometimes you have things to do, but you might lack the energy to do them. Okay. Raise your hand if sometimes you feel like you've lost a little bit of your mojo. Okay. Raise your hand if you love what you do, but you don't always love what you do. Y'all know what I mean by that, right? You can love your job and not love your job, right? So that's what it's like for a lot of us. So I really started thinking, like, how do we start to create more energy for ourselves? The number one way to create more energy is to create a physical demand in your body for more energy. Because if we sit all day, like we're sitting right now after lunch, it sends a message to your brain that it doesn't need to create any more energy. And so then what happens to you by like 2 o'clock? How are you feeling then? Tired? Anyone ever find themselves like sunken down in their chair at 2 o'clock? And what message do you think that sends to your body? It's the go time, it's nap time, right? So here's how we create a demand for physical energy. I need you to stand. That is actually the first way that you can create a demand for physical energy, right? What happens when you stand? What happens when you go from sitting to standing? You have to use energy to actually do that, right? So your brain is saying, well, we need more energy, right? Then get your hands above your heart. So just raise your hands above your head. Just leave them up here for a minute. What happens when you get your hands above your heart? Blood starts circulating and it tells your body that it needs to create more energy because this is not the natural place for your hands to be. Now, pump your arms. Okay, raising the roof. What do you think happens here? Just keep pumping. You're good. Keep pumping. Keep pumping. What happens? Yeah, some of us are like, I have not done enough arm workouts this year. Yeah, it feels a little funny and it's like, oh, wait, something's happening, right? And our brain is like, keep pumping, y'all. Our brain is like, yeah, like what's happening right now? And I want you to just look at each other, pumping our arms. Look how silly we all look. Pumping you can put your arms down. I get it. Like it's hard, right? Shake it out. You can have a seat. Now, I know that looked silly. I know that sounds silly, but I promise you, this is the quickest, easiest way to create more energy for yourself. So if you find yourself at 2 o'clock and you're like, oh man, I'm really tired, the quickest, easiest, fastest thing you can do is stand up and raise the roof for 30 seconds. And all of a sudden, you're going to have more energy. My goal is for people to send me pictures and videos of themselves at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, raising the roof in their offices by themselves. Why? Because it's silly. It makes me laugh to watch you all raise the roof. It makes you laugh to see each other raise the roof, but it actually does work, right? So every day at 2 o'clock, I have an alarm on my phone that goes off and it says this: have you had fun today? Have you had fun today? Now, why do you think I need to ask myself that question? It's my core value is fun. And if I'm not in front of people, I'm literally sitting at a desk at my house by myself, head down, writing something all day, right? And that's not fun. And so sometimes I can go a whole day without having fun. And if fun's one of my core values and I'm not having fun, then I'm not living in alignment of my values. So what is that for you? What does your 2 o'clock message need to be? Have you had fun today? Have you experienced joy today? Have you laughed today? What does it need to be for you? I just want you to jot that down for yourself. What is the question that you would need to ask yourself every day at 2 o'clock to see if you're living in alignment with your values? All right, I want you to stand up. I want you to find a partner not at your table, and I want you to ask your question to your partner. Have you blank today? Whatever it is. Find a new partner at a different table, not where you're at now, because y'all need some energy this afternoon.
Do you feel accomplished today?
All right, don't sit down. Find one more partner, switch, ask another person your question. Find another partner and ask that person your question. All right, come on back to your seats if you've asked the question. What was it like for you to ask your question to someone else? And what was it like for you to be on the receiving end of someone else's question like that? It was terrible. You would have picked it's okay. It's all right. I loved your question. Can you share your question?
My question was,
Do you feel accomplished today? Such an easy question, right? The thing that I want you all to remember with every single thing that we've talked about today is it doesn't have to be complicated. They can be these little things that make a big difference. So many times we try to move boulders. We try to move big things instead of just moving the small pebbles every day, asking questions as simple as, do you feel accomplished today? Have you had fun today? Right? Those little things stack up to make a big difference. And asking yourself that question every day is one of the things that also helps create energy in your life. Because if the answer is no, I can very quickly shift into, let me take 5 minutes and do something fun. Right? Let me take 5 minutes, put on Beyonce, dance around the house, pretend that I'm Beyonce's dancer for a minute, and then just like get back to work, right? All of these things add up to make a big difference. So raise the roof is your number one strategy. Thank you. And the second strategy is to ask yourself, are you living in alignment with that value? And then do something about it. So anytime you need more energy, you create it for yourself. But why do you think something like the energy that you create for the day is so important? What do you do with the energy that you create? You share it with other people. Yes. What else do you do with it? Yeah. Yes, right? You channel it into all of the projects that you work on. And the results of the projects that you work on do things like create healthy and safe communities. And it does things like improve the quality of patient care and reduce the cost of delivering healthcare. Really what I want you to think about, and I think it's so easy for us individually to remember, that the work that we do changes lives in some way. That is why the energy you bring to it is so important, right? It's not just because you're getting a paycheck, it's how many lives am I impacting through the work that I do? And if I do my work well, what impact does that have in the communities that I serve? What impact does that have with people who need me most, right? So what are you doing with the energy? You're changing lives with it. And you never know how much you might impact someone else's life by just showing up as your best self that day. So let's recap. We talked about, 1, 2, 3, which was about stress, and you created your own quick self-care plan. We talked about, yes, 1, 2, 3, yes, which was about celebrating the things that you accomplished, taking the time to celebrate yourself and celebrate others. We talked about look out, 1, 2, 3, look out, which was about always creating something to look forward to in your life. And lastly, we talked about raise the roof, 1, 2, 3, raise the roof, which was all about living in alignment with your values and creating the energy so that you can change the lives of the people around you. The last thing I want us to do is on the bottom of that page, you'll see something that says make one change. So one of my core values is impact. I don't want to do something if I'm not having fun and if it's not having an impact. For me, the impact is what do you do with the information? Because I can give you all the information, but if you don't do anything with it, it really wasn't worth anything. So what is one thing that you want to commit to yourself to do moving forward today? What's one thing that you want to try or commit to doing moving forward? Jot it down. All right. What is your one change? Who wants to share? Yeah. Okay. 2 p.m. reminder. What was your question? Okay. Have you found something joyful today? Wonderful. 2 p.m. reminder. Love it. What else? Gratitude journal. Great. Start with one thing. You can build up to 3. I'm like, make it as easy as possible. One thing build up. Yeah. What else? What else are you all going to do? I have been blessed with the patience of Job. It's truly a gift and a talent of mine to outweigh everyone. Yes. Okay. Okay. So working around people more often. Wonderful. Okay. Do an affirmation for yourself every day. Great. Who else? The reason I want you to share these is because it makes it real, right? I could have told you, just think about what's one thing you want to do and what do you think would happen 10 minutes from now? What was that thing I said I wanted to do? I don't remember. So how'd you write it down, right? Moving it from your brain to paper makes it real. Moving it from paper to saying it out loud makes it even more real. So during the break, I want you to commit to telling someone else what is the one change that you want to make and make it really real for them. All right, here's how you can get a hold of me. If you have questions, comments, insights, feel free to send me an email. I would love to hear from you in 2 weeks. Here's what I want to hear from you in 2 weeks. Colene, here's what I did based off of my make one change. And here's what that has done for me, right? If you send me an email in 2 weeks telling me that you've done something, I will send you a digital copy of a book of mine. I bribe you to do things for yourself, right? So you can send me an email, Colene@coachcolene.com, and I will send you a message back with a digital copy of one of my books. I post on Instagram and on Facebook every morning a motivational message. And every Monday morning, I send out an email called a Monday Morning Pep Talk, which is a free email that gives you a thought or an intention for the week. And if you'd like to get that, you can text the words "be more" to the number 66866. Also on the bottom of your handout too. And you can get signed up for that. And it's completely free, but it's how you'll find out about other workshops and things that I'm doing. Let's end on a positive note, because we have the rest, you all have the rest of the afternoon. I'm going to go eat, but you all have the rest of the afternoon together. Let's get our energy up. So let's stand up one more time.